Thanks for joining us for Understanding Real Estate with Realtor Becky Cobb of West Cobb Alliance, part of the ReeceNichols Real Estate Group in Neosho.
Good morning, Becky. What would you like to let everybody know about today?
Well, I'm going to talk about something that a lot of people in Newton County are probably aware of. Becky Cobb's Facebook page got hacked a few weeks ago. And that has been nothing but a nightmare ever since. I've got very, very good tech people working on the situation. But I just want everyone to know that I am not selling things for an uncle or anybody else. I would also just like to ask everybody to please use some caution, because I'm not the only person that's been hacked with this type of a message. They come on, they present that they have items for sale that are being sold to help an uncle or help some other family member, and they're being sold at drastically reduced prices. It's one of those schemes, guys. If it's too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. Unfortunately, through Facebook, was something that many people may not know, is if you tried to private message the person that you thought was me, that was not me, you got put in directly with the hacker. And when you asked the hacker, is this for real? Of course, they said, this is for real. So, folks, I just want to tell everybody, please use caution. AI is real, and we've got a lot of stuff out there that is not truth that's being generated through these type of Facebook posts. And, I feel really bad about it. There's nothing I can do. I have no control over it. So that's what I've got for today. Please be careful and think through before you send anybody any money online over something like that.
Yeah, and if somebody wants to make sure they get a hold of the real Becky Cobb, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, I'm going to tell you my telephone number. It's 417-592-3245. That's 417-592-3245. If you really need to talk to me, I want you to give me a call. But please do not go through that Facebook page where they're trying to sell things in my name. It's not true.
Good morning once again, Becky. And for today, tell us, what is a real estate scam?
Well, I'm just going to read to you some research I've got here in front of me. It says a real estate fraud occurs when someone uses a property transaction as a pretense to steal your money. And it's more common than you may think. According to the FBI, more than 9,300 people were victims of real estate fraud in 2024. That was over $173 million in reported losses. Real estate scammers and rental scams are really serious. They are true. They happen even in our area. And the unfortunate thing is, with AI, scammers are getting better at impersonating real estate professionals, lenders, title companies, agents. So you have to be on the alert. If someone says you can't view the property prior to giving them money, it's a scam. If someone says, I need 90 days or 120 days to close, and they're out there trying to market your property, it's a scam. So many different things that people can do. If they tell you need to wire funds, if you get an mystery email, you got to wire funds. It's probably a scam if this is nothing that's been discussed and it's not coming directly from your title company. So you've got to be on alert. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone, call, ask questions. No stupid questions in this matter, folks. Call the people that you know and you trust. Call more than one of them and make sure that you're protecting yourself, because there are people out there wanting to get your money, wanting to get access to your real estate, and it's dangerous.
Well, for today, Becky, what scams do people need to be aware of whenever it comes to real estate?
Well, one of the things that seems to be active in the area is something called wholesaling. And, as a realtor, it's actually illegal for me to practice this type of real estate with my license. But for some reason, it's a loophole that several people have gone through. And I feel like they tend to prey on widows and people without a lot of financial resources. And here's quite simply this. Let's say you've got a piece of property that maybe a real estate agent would say it's worth $100,000, but you haven't called the real estate agent, so you don't know what it's worth. Wholesaler calls you and says, okay, I see you've got this property here. Would you like to sell it? You say, yeah, I need to get rid of it. And they say, okay, well, we'll pay you $50,000 for it. And maybe you think that sounds great. So you enter into a contract with them for $50,000. Well, then what the wholesaler does is he or she, they go about and they try to market that contract. So they're going to sell that, find another buyer for it. They will probably also ask you to enter into a contract where they're not going to close for 60 or 90 days or maybe 120 days. So essentially they go out, they market that property, they get you at the closing table, they pay you the $50,000, they turn right around and sell it for $100,000, they pocket $50,000. That's it in the short story. I understand our legislature in the state of Missouri is trying to put a stop to it. It's something to be on the lookout for.
For today, Becky, this week we're talking about the bad guys out there in the real estate world. What do you want to make sure people are aware of?
There are several different ways people can be frauded and taken advantage of in real estate. One of the things that we are always, and all the realtors in the area will be warning you about wire fraud. Hackers can intercept emails between you and your real estate agent or the title company, and they may send you fraudulent wiring instructions to steal your closing funds. This is a real thing. I know that I've heard stories of people losing $40,000 and $100,000 just because they got a message maybe right before they were supposed to close, says, please wire your closing funds here. Assuming it came from their realtor or their title company, they go ahead and take that action and their money is gone. And it's gone offshore, far, far away from here, and they're never going to get it back. So please do not wire money in a real estate transaction without actually talking with the people you truly know. And there's so many different ways. You need to probably have an eyeball-to-eyeball conversation and find out, is it truly necessary to wire those funds? So please be aware of that. And remember, on those emails, they can change just the slightest little thing on an email, and you'll look and you'll think, oh yeah, that's going to such and such title company. But when you look closer, you realize it's got a different destination than that title company. So be aware of that sort of thing and call your real estate agent, call your title company, call somebody you know that's truly involved in the transaction.
This week, Becky, we're talking about the frauds and scams that people need to be aware of, and what would you like them to know today?
Well, there's something else out there and called seller impersonation. And some scammers are going to pose as property owners and say, yes, this is my property. I have the right to sell this property. They'll use a fake ID, and essentially they're going to sell property that they do not own. And it's something I heard recently at a training I went to. It's a real thing. You need to be on the outlook for that too. It is not a good idea to close a property with traveling notary that you have no idea who this traveling notary is. We have local title companies, local people that can help you research and make sure that you actually have the real property owner and that they are a person that is authorized to sell property. And you have to look out for these things. It's often going to happen maybe when somebody has passed away or they're an out-of-state owner, something like that. And so someone sees an opportunity to come in and pretend to be that owner of the property. And there again, take advantage of people, get their money, and then they're long gone and you don't own anything.
So having your real estate agent right alongside you, working with someone who's a professional in this space, this will help protect you from a lot of those scams.
It will. It absolutely will. You got to go through the proper channels. Again, I've said it before, if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. Don't do it.
If you would like to know more about understanding real estate, you may contact Becky Cobb at 417-592-3245 of the West Cobb Alliance, your Realtors for Life. Find out more on the web at neosho.homes.